Okay, have you ever set a massive, life-changing goal only to find yourself completely paralyzed? Like you're just unable to even start? We have all been there. So in this explainer, we're gonna dive into a simple but really powerful psychological trick to conquer that fear and turn those huge ambitions into something you can actually do. Let's try a quick experiment. Right now, I want you to think of a massive goal you have. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, or even running a marathon. Really picture it. And as you're doing that, notice what happens in your body. Do you feel a rush of excitement, or does your chest tighten up a little bit? Does that little voice in your head start whispering, "You're not ready for this"? That feeling right there, that's at the very core of what we're talking about today. You know that physical reaction, that fear? It's not some personal failing. It's actually a feature of your brain's ancient wiring. But what if you could just bypass it? What if you could essentially trick your brain and make it feel perfectly safe and comfortable as you move step by step toward that giant goal? Well, it turns out you can. So let's put a name to this feeling. Let's call it the giant leap problem. That sense of being totally overwhelmed isn't just in your head. Nope. It's a very real neurological response to what feels like a massive, kind of dangerous jump into the unknown. And here's the crucial part. Your brain is fundamentally wired for survival. So when it sees a giant, uncertain goal, it doesn't see opportunity, it sees a threat. It sees the risk of failure, embarrassment, leaving your comfort zone. And its response? It's to slam on the brakes with procrastination and self-sabotage, all to keep you safe. So how do we get around this built-in defense mechanism? Well, we don't fight it head-on. Instead, we use a simple brain hack, one that's rooted in behavioral psychology. The technique is called Successive Approximation. It's really the art of breaking down a terrifying giant leap into a series of incredibly small, non-threatening steps. And every single time you complete one of those tiny steps, your brain gets a tiny win. That's a small release of the reward chemical dopamine, which makes you feel good and, more importantly, encourages you to do it again. This is the core idea right here. It's all about shifting your focus from the overwhelming final destination to the next manageable step right in front of you. The feeling totally changes from, "Oh man, I can't possibly do all of that," to, "Yeah, I can definitely do this one little thing." But this isn't just about feeling good in the moment. Over time, this whole process of collecting tiny wins actually starts to rewire your brain's default response. Let's break down how that process actually works. So here's the recipe. First, you isolate one ridiculously small step. I mean, not write the book, but open a document and write one sentence. Step 2, you do it, and boom, you get that tiny win, that little hit of dopamine. Step 3, that win creates momentum. And step 4, this is the most powerful part, with every single tiny win, you are actively retraining your brain. And this is the ultimate payoff. You're teaching your mind that progress doesn't have to be scary. So instead of defaulting to fear and self-protection, your brain starts to associate moving forward with the positive feeling of success. It literally begins to expect success instead of dreading the leap. To make this even clearer, let's use a simple analogy. I want you to think of your brain's fear response as a super sensitive home security system. Okay, so imagine you try to shove a giant piece of furniture, that's your massive goal, through the front door all at once. What happens? You're going to set off every single alarm. The lasers trip, the sirens are blaring. That's self-sabotage. But what if you take that same piece of furniture apart and bring it through in small, manageable pieces? You move completely undetected. You can build the whole thing inside without ever triggering the alarm. This is the key idea to remember. Your brain's job is to detect threats, and a huge sudden change, well, that registers as a major threat. And that, right there, is the genius of successive approximation. By making each step so small that it just flies under the radar, the alarm of fear and procrastination, it simply never goes off. The system never feels threatened, and that allows you to make consistent, quiet progress. So what does this all mean for you? Well, it means you have a practical, real tool to shift yourself from a state of fear-based paralysis to one of forward, confident momentum. Let's just recap what this whole technique unlocks. It helps you escape that comfort zone trap because it makes the first step feel safe. Those tiny wins, they give you the courage to keep trying because the next step never feels too big. This is how you move from paralysis into action and transform a goal that once felt completely overwhelming into a structured, achievable project you can actually finish. So let's bring it back to that big goal from the very beginning. For a moment, just forget the giant leap. Instead, ask yourself this. What is the smallest, most ridiculously tiny piece you can break off and accomplish today? What's that one small step you can take to move forward, completely undetected by your own security system?